because there's another side of your business. Because yes, we're talking about Sam, the restaurateur, but previous to actually owning a storefront restaurant, a brick and mortar restaurant, you know, you had made your name, if you will, by cooking on television and then converting from television to digital. And of course, we've talked about this when we were on terrestrial radio. And you've said to me, look, now that you've gone digital, you don't have to do live podcasting every day just because everybody thinks that's when you're supposed to be on at 3 p.m. Yeah. You even told me more of your audience, like 80% of your audience, watches after the live presentation. Yeah, we've been, because of the quarantine, we've all been working from home, and we've been recording earlier in the day, and we've been releasing at the same time. Back to the original question, which is, the other side of your business besides restaurateur is YouTube performer, and I'm sure you're making money there. Do you find that because people's habits have changed in the last 2 weeks, and they will change for the next 2 weeks, that you're getting more traffic on your videos? Okay, tell me about that.
Absolutely. Well, we've been averaging, I'd say the last 4 or 5 months, I don't need to go back further than that, about 90,000 new subscribers being added every month.
Wow.
The last week, the last 7 days, we added almost 40,000. So I think we're benefiting from the boredom factor.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, there's not really much new television being made. Look, Tiger King, I mean, come on. I mean, it's pretty compelling, nonsensical, crazy whack entertainment. But but people they're at home and they're, you know, binge watching stuff. Right. I think a lot of people are starting to find Sam the Cooking Guy on YouTube because they're cooking and they're looking for recipes, and they go on YouTube and they type in the best grilled cheese or chicken fried steak or how to make a gravy or whatever it is. And in a lot of cases, my stuff comes up. And I've always said, look, I know I'm not everybody's cup of tea. Some people want that straight, those videos that are just shot from the top. That's it. No talking, just music, hands mixed, and then it goes away and it says bacon hour and it comes back and it's tasty videos. Those guys, they've done a great job. They have a huge following. We're not that. If you want a little more entertainment, if a little more conversation, if you want somebody to say, look, I'm using fresh tuna in this, but if you don't have fresh tuna and you just have like some cold chicken from yesterday, hell yes, throw this stuff in. You're going to be fine. It's about experiment. It's that kind of thing. So I think maybe the people that are finding us now are those kind of people that want a little bit more rather than just like, I'd say the written word, but those tasty videos are kind of like that in the sense that, you know, you're just looking.
It's really interesting how the restaurant side of your business is shut down and expanding, but you're expanding and you're growing in a time where you're actually not doing business on one hand. And on the other hand, the performance side of what you do is actually growing exponentially just because of the shutdown that has shut half of your business down, if you will.
Yeah. You could never have known, you know, when we were getting our YouTube stuff going, that it would be that rainy day fun that we maybe hadn't thought about. And it literally is. It literally is.
Well, since you've been kind of on me about, you know, not needing to be live, and having been in this quarantine and been recording daily podcasts, I'm starting to really understand. Alex, I don't know how you feel about it, but Alex is controlling everything from his place down in North Park. And Alex was always like, no, dude, we got to be live because that's what our audience expects. But I don't really find that many complaints. And I
Bring
also
Alex on for a sec.
Yeah,
Alex, let's see you.
And I also don't see a big difference in in other words, I don't see any drop. In fact, I think we're growing as well. Our statistics throughout this time.
Alex, hold a minute. Just talk to Alex.
I'm here.
I said this to Mr. Kaplan many times. I said there was a period when our stuff was live, and we considered going tape, just taping it, editing it, and making it look better, and putting up when we wanted to, being consistent in the time. And I would say to Scott, you don't need to do this. And Scott would say, no, he always had this ambiguous, there's a reason, I don't really want to talk about it, I don't really know what it was, some kind of sponsor related thing, and why the sponsors would want to be tied to something that was hindering you and maybe keeping you from flourishing didn't make sense in my mind. But when we finally pulled the plug and did it, my concern was really about a handful of people that were daily contributors to the show. And when I say contributors, I just mean they would comment online.
Yeah.
There was this woman in New York, in Brooklyn or something. Her name was Addie Korn. I think she was like 80. And I remember saying to my son, who shoots and edits everything, Max, I remember saying, but what about people like Addie? And he goes, Dad, I'm sure she's really lovely, but is she our core audience, and does it matter? And guess what? I don't think she watches anymore. I have no way of knowing. That was when we had 30,000-ish subscribers, and now we're, you know, approaching 1.7 million. But it made the change in so many great ways. It took the stress off us. It let us put out a better product, because streaming still in 2020 is not an exact science. You guys know that. It is not perfect. It lets us edit our work a little bit. It lets us take our time and focus it. And even though TV is old and we don't need TV anymore, really, I still strive for what people think about in terms of quality. And I think on some level, there's people that jump on the internet and they put up a show, some kind of whatever it is, a podcast, a cooking show, whatever, sports thing. And there's this thinking that because it's the internet, it doesn't really have to look that good. I mean, they go, look, there's people that are just freaking talking, just straight podcasting. You can't see them. So if we give them any kind of video image, we're going to be better off than those guys. That's not what we wanted to do. We wanted our stuff to look absolutely as good as anything on TV. And the stuff that Max does for us, my shit now looks better than it ever did on any TV that I've shot.
Alex, has your opinion changed given the quarantine and how we've all been recording the show every day?
I think as far as numbers go, it hasn't shown a drop off really. If anything, like Sam, I think we're benefiting from people just being home. Yeah. But I think my biggest issue as a sports show is that stuff happens all the time. And if we do record it in the morning or whatever, and then we publish it at 3 and we're not talking about something major that happened, that's our only disadvantage in our category.
Okay, so let me ask you this. When did you guys record before? What was your time of day?
Well, we would go live at 3 every day. And what we've been doing now is we've been recording at about 1 p.m. So we're really only about 2 hours earlier than when we air.
So record at 3 then. It'll be virtually the same thing, but easier. In our case, it was easier, less expensive, looked better, and people didn't give a shit. In fact, they did, because back in the time of no virus, when you could go do anything you want, go out anytime you want, our numbers only went up when we made the change. Only.